NFL films. You can just feel the energy, the history all around us. It is December 29th. We are live in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. This is the last GMFB of 2017.
Can I do it yet?
Oh.
Never toot your own horn.
Poor form.
My thing is clogged. My vuvuzela's broken.
All right. Okay.
Celebrate the end of the year with us. This is Nate Burleson wearing, is this a wood grain hat you have on?
Yeah, a little wood brim hat. It's the New Year's. Two guys. Shout out to two guys.
Nice to have that in the morning.
Got to bring in the New Year's right.
You guys know Peter Schrager. He's a designer.
Kyle, I love
He's a
you.
shirt designer.
Yeah.
What's up, Peter? It's okay. How you feeling?
I'm great. Hey, Kyle.
Awesome.
Nice to be here. All right. Can't wait for what should be an epic finish to 2017, the NFL regular season. Still a ton to play for, especially in the NFC South, which still has a chance to send 3 teams, 1-2 trace to the postseason. And that'll depend a lot on a huge matchup down in Hotlanta. So let's start it off right now. Time for the Lead Rock!
So here we go with the Panthers and Falcons. Match sets, throws, caught, Sanu, touchdown at the near side. Pitch, McCaffrey, a walk-in, touchdown. 5-4, 3-2-1, touchdown.
Cam Big Newton, my goodness, what a beautiful decision.
It's like he slam dunked it on the DB's head.
Ryan airs it out all alone. Juggled. Incomplete. Jones wide open, and he dropped it.
The Panthers came out on top back in Week 9, but taking a look at the NFC playoff photo here, it is the Falcons who will clinch a postseason berth and they can take down the Panthers on Sunday. For Carolina, they've clinched their spot. This is not a digital camera that you can delete the picture. This is a Polaroid old school film. You can't change it, but they do have the potential to jump up as high as a 2 seed with a win and a few other results going their way. Let's talk about this matchup. This is going to be a good one.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Where do we start?
One thing we're looking for, Peter?
I'm going to start with one of the quarterbacks, and although I think Matt Ryan has more on his shoulders this week, I want to go through Cam Newton and the city of Atlanta. Cam Newton was born in College Park, Atlanta, a south part of Atlanta. His 2 children were born in Atlanta. He spends his off seasons in Atlanta. He is, in many ways, the pride of Atlanta, and yet he can ruin the city's 2017 dreams on New Year's Eve. Cam Newton, put up or shut up time for the Panthers, right? Like, this is it. Like, let's come into the playoffs. What are we this year? And to me, there's no player I would fear more if I'm the Atlanta Falcons in the entire NFL. The number one, going back into his city where he could spoil their dreams. Cam Newton is the player I am excited to see.
You didn't even mention his rushing ability, which is what I sort of want to get into here. Cam Newton is the lead rusher on the Panthers this season. That's huge and amazing. He's really gotten his running game going over the recent weeks. But those running backs, in my opinion, really, I want to see them step up this week. Because if you look at Jonathan Stewart, and recently on this string of wins that they've pulled out, Jonathan Stewart, you know, it's all over the place as far as the run, what he's done on the field. And really, the only playoff team that they've beat is when Jonathan Stewart has a big game against the Vikings. Right, he had those 3 touchdowns in that game. That's what it's going to take. Because as good as Cam is, and this is the only team in the league, guys, that has 3 different 400-plus yard rushers. You have Jay Stu, you have McCaffrey, and Cam Newton. Yes, he can do it, but guys, name a quarterback that's won the Super Bowl as the lead rusher on their team.
Brad Johnson?
No. There are none. None. So I really want to, and they can do it. They have the potential. If they get that run game going, they're going to get far. So I want to see them step it up this week against the Falcons, who we know have a potent run game. So do all the playoff teams, really.
All right. Well, the guy that I want to pay attention to and I want to watch very closely is wide receiver for the Atlanta Falcons, Julio Jones. And there's only a few players in the entire NFL that can put a team on his back. You guys mentioned Cam, which is great. And Julio is that same type of guy. Now, even with the inconsistency, and Schrager, we were talking about this catch right before the show started. This right here pretty much sealed the deal and ruined it all as he runs into the end zone and does the Usain Bolt. He's had a great season despite all the inconsistency with the play calling. He's 3rd in the NFL with just over 1,300 yards. But more importantly, with this specific matchup, up against the Panthers at home the last 2 times, 2016, Julio had a career-high 300 receiving yards, went absolutely bananas.
300.
Previous to that, at home against the Panthers, he had 178. So these are video game numbers. And for those at home, you're saying, well, Nate, who cares about the numbers? We're receivers care about the numbers, and we remember everything. It's just like a shooting guard having one hell of a day going for 50 and then facing that team a year later. He's like, you know what? Last time I was out up against the squad at home, I went clean off. So I'm looking forward to Julio. This is that time of the year where Sark, offense coordinator, you got to feed your beast. And Julio, going into this game, you know that you have to dominate in order for this team to win. So I'll be watching Julio Jones, who, when there's Antonio Brown, there's always Julio in that conversation. This is that game, Julio. We're waiting on you.
Can I make a little wrinkle here?
Yeah.
Joe Buck was on the call in the little montage we had for. We might not have to be here if Julio catches that deep pass against the Panthers earlier this season, right in his hands, and he dropped it. I'm not going to blame anything on Julio Jones for any Falcons failures this year, but when they do the montage of Falcons, why didn't they make the playoffs? It would be this game in Week 17 losing, and that drop pass might be the difference.
Very symbolic.
Becoming a playoff team or not.
Very symbolic of the season.
You know, it's the end of the new year. Everybody getting a little nostalgic, a little whimsical for the past. I'm tired of waiting for the Atlanta offense to just explode. I don't think magically they're ever going to flip a switch and Matt Ryan's going to throw for 450 yards. I don't think it's going to happen. I genuinely think the way that Atlanta wins this game is with Devontae Freeman. I truly think that. He's just an interesting last couple of weeks. He was so dynamic, and then last week he had a huge letdown, fumbling stuff at the goal line. And I think this is the day with Devontae Freeman. It's like, who are you? Live now or forever hold your peace. And he's going against Luke Kuechly. This is a great matchup. Everybody's talking about Luke versus Kylo Ren. I'm talking about Luke versus Kylo Run. This is the matchup I want. And Dan Quinn loves himself a boxing metaphor, right? He always loves boxing, the old prize fighting. So what better in boxing than an old Jim Lampley tale of the tape? Let's meet the two fighters, Devontae and Luke. Let's start right away. Size 5'8", 206 for Devontae, kind of undersized. Kuechly, a monster at 6'3", 242. Guys, look at the 40-yard dash times.
Wow.
4.58, 4.58. The exact same 40, which is incredible for Kuechly. Now, this is my favorite. Draft weaknesses coming out in the draft. Devontae Freeman lacks power. That was an actual thing said about him. He trucks everybody. Luke Kuechly, inflated tackles. What that meant was they were kind of downfield. They were after the play.
The BC SID gives him 23 tackles.
Yeah, it's a stat monster. Can't really play. Nickname, Free. He got that from his former running back coach.